This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
And we're back at Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies. I'm Cody, and with me are Kyle and Ken.
Hello.
We're here. We're here.
You're here this week. It's been I thought it was going to be another quiet week that we could catch up on work and
3 for 3.
You sound like you're out of breath. Did you jog here?
I know I am. I'm tired. There's been so much going on. Sony just dropped a bomb on my week, and they just really screwed the pooch.
That's a good little tease. What else is new here on this podcast?
I feel like we try to be nice to Sony every week. We end up dumping on them. Week after week.
No, we're pretty good, but this week they got me this week.
Seems like they get the brunt of a lot of this.
At this point, it's just become easy.
Yeah, it's old hat. Let's.
Yeah.
I want so badly for things to go right, and then they just make such silly decisions. I don't know.
Silly.
I'm going to use the word silly on this.
Fine decisions. Fine.
They're fine decisions.
Haven't had to use that word in a while.
Yeah. So let's get into it. So Sony did move up the release date of Peter Rabbit to June 11th.
Hey, a release date moved up. Awesome.
Yay.
Right?
No. There's so much coming out on June 11th. Okay, backstory. We had been trying to get extra prints for June 18th. I wanted to get Peter Rabbit into twins and threes.
It should be into twins at minimum.
And they had a pretty small print, not small, but smaller print count than you would think. You would think that they would go really wide with this movie. This is a big, family film for the beginning of summer. And they weren't going very wide with it. And I wasn't going to get threes and twins. And so, there was a lot of pressure, and I'm sure NATO was hearing a lot of pressure. Like, we're not getting this and we need it. So a pressure campaign had been put on them to get more prints. And that's what we were requesting, just more prints. Well, in their infinite wisdom, they gave us more prints and moved the date up. Well, I had already committed to stuff on the 11th that we have In the Heights. We have Hitman's Bodyguard coming out on the 16th.
You have Second Week of Spirit.
And then the second week of Spirit,
Conjuring.
Second week of Conjuring. That's 4 screens right there.
And in multiplexes, it's a guaranteed.
And then it technically is the 3rd week of Cruella and Quiet Place. So there's 6 screens right there. Where was Peter Rabbit going to go? Where is it going to go? I mean, what are you going to sacrifice in here? Are you going to come off a 2nd or a 3rd week of Cruella or Quiet Place? I don't know if that's even going to be possible, if grosses will permit it, maybe. Now do I have to go back to Warner's and say, sorry, Warner's, Sony made a change, so now I have to cancel my date with you? That doesn't seem very fair. And what do I cancel? Do I cancel In the Heights or do I cancel Conjuring? Where do I go with that? And they each will play to different audiences. So it really...
And Conjuring doesn't cover the Quiet Place audience.
Yeah.
The Quiet Place is a thriller, and The Conjuring is a horror movie.
Yeah, and Conjuring's an R, and Quiet Place is PG-13. Yeah. So I don't know where Peter Rabbit was going to go, where they would fit it in. Why was that ever a thing? At least on the 18th, I would have given Quiet and Cruella 3 good, solid weeks, and by then it was probably time for one of those to come off. But now you've put it in a place where I'm coming off something early or canceling a booking I've already made. Because these bookings are done in advance. I don't just wait for the week of and be like, I feel like playing something this week, and I'm just going to call up the studio and book it.
Yeah. No, if somebody else, another film company did this, it would be asinine.
Yeah,
We're 17 days out.
Right. Would I go to Sony and be like, sorry, Sony, I got to cancel your film because Warner's moved their date? They wouldn't accept that. So why am I going to do that to Warner's? So it's such a mess. And so I had to go back to them and say, okay, I needed twins and triples, and now I can't even properly confirm a 6. I don't feel comfortable confirming a 6 now with you. You've put me in the position to have lost dates when I could have added prints. Not to mention the whole hubbub that if we had just played this in May for Easter, we'd probably still be having it on screen right now.
April in Easter.
Or April, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, April, March, January.
Wherever
numerous
Easter
amount
was.
of spots it was before
We're
that.
8 weeks out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle's got the list here, which is hilarious.
So,
No, I want Kyle to do this because you wrote
Kyle,
it out.
tell us the tale of Peter Rabbit's release schedule changes.
Okay, so I'm going to preface it first by saying that our SSI system, when it comes to release changes, has only been showing the updates when it comes to them since the start of January, since we got a whole new website and system in place. So I went even farther back to when this movie was announced in the first place to see all the different changes. So before our new system, I looked back, and initially it was slated for February 7th, 2020. And then the pandemic, hit and took a turn. Or no, not even, because it started in March.
They moved it to Easter.
They moved it to
even
Easter.
threw me for a loop, so they switched to Easter, which, okay.
Pre-pandemic, they moved it.
Which that makes sense. The Easter bunnies, that makes way more sense. And then the pandemic hit, so of course they had to switch course and move the movie to August 7th of 2020. And around that time, we were like, oh, it's not... It'll be fine. Hopefully theaters can be up and running by then. We just did not know. And then later on, it moved from August 7th to January 15th, 2021. And
we thought, that's fine. It's after Christmas. The pandemic will surely be done by then.
Exactly. And again, we didn't know. So then after the 15th of January, it switched to coming back to Easter on April 2nd, 2021. And again, we were like, perfect. Easter, there's some theaters that are starting to reopen.
It's going to be wonderful.
Exactly.
Spring, it's a bunny. Makes perfect sense to have this film in the spring.
And then they decided to dump it onto June 11th, 2021.
Oh,
yes, the release date
of June 11th.
Yeah, good. We're finally done.
Yeah.
We finally set it at
No.
June 20.
There's more. There's more to this story.
Oh, my God.
After being on June 11th, we then decided to bump it up to May 14th, 2021. And this is when we really started having these conversations of what the heck is going on?
Right.
Why are all of these moves happening?
Right. And then we're like, okay, well, at least they moved it up into May. We're like, okay, this is good. This is amazing. At the time, we had all release dates being pushed back. So
And everything was R for the entire month of May.
And we were like, oh, this will be
From
so good.
Mortal Kombat until
yeah.
Quiet Place and Cruella, everything was rated R.
Right. And I remember at this point, we were having conversations because they had set their print count and it was at the lower threshold. And we were like, we're going to need more. We're going to need more.
Because there's nothing else there, and people are going to want to go
There's
out and show this to kids.
a sea of ours, and we need more.
But sadly, they changed it again to July 2nd of 2021, and then we really started getting even more confused because we already had... Oh, what else was there? We were
Minions was at the
was that at the spot at the time?
Yeah,
there was also Black Widow as well, and I think Forever Purge. And Maverick was supposed to be in that spot too.
So Minions was in that spot, and Minions moved out, and they moved. They're like, oh, we see an opportunity
4th
to
of July
have
weekend.
Yeah, and we're like, wait, what are you doing? And they were like, no, and they moved it.
If you have a twin screen theater and you have
F9
Maverick,
before, and then Maverick, you were never going to get played for Peter. And that's what I told Sony at the time. I'm like, I'm not taking you because I'm going to have F9 and Top Gun.
You have a 10-film franchise, and you have a second in a Lifetime movie that appeals to a lot of audiences.
Yeah.
And Paramount doesn't mess around with dates. They give dates.
Yeah.
They don't argue about dates. They give them.
Then I don't know when Sony moved again, but Top Gun moved out, so Sony moved it first before Top Gun.
I think so.
Right, yeah.
So they moved again, Kyle. When they moved to?
And even when Maverick moved it back, it was like, okay, then maybe that could be doable. It's better.
Well, now they'll get dates.
And then they decided to move it up to June 18th, where at this point, we're just losing our minds. We don't know what to make of this, but this was
It was doable.
It was more doable than July 2nd anyway.
Yeah, at the time.
And then, 17 days before this movie comes out, they decided to bump it up to June 11th.
Back to the 11th.
2021.
After we had already set dates with other studios. So now, so how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 moves on the release schedule. I go all these.
I give them a pass for the 2020 stuff because that was... craziness. Annoying, but it was craziness due to the pandemic.
I'm not going to give him a pass. It's 10 changes on the release schedule.
It is still ridiculous nonetheless.
I mean, we still have like Venom. We still have Morbius that has moved just as many times on
Right.
their schedule.
Oh, that will be a trip down memory lane if we ever get to that.
I
But
know. What has Sony moved this week?
going down this rabbit hole, no pun intended,
Nice.
just was just mind-boggling. And then I especially had a good laugh when June 11th was one of the previous release dates to begin
Well,
with.
when you have so many changes, you're bound to hit one of the weeks.
It's just you can't make this stuff up. It's just comedy.
5 release dates prior. I think they were trying to do a callback. I think they had
They'll
this
get the
idea that
reference.
They'll
Yeah.
get the joke.
Come on, guys, it's funny.
It's one of those Mel Brooks jokes.
Yeah.
He throws in a callback from 6
No.
movies before.
It's really been a bomb this week because now I have to go back to people and say, are we going to try to get out of Conjuring? Or I can't double track Universal or Warner Brothers now. You want Conjuring? You want In the Heights? Or do you just not want to play Peter Rabbit and play it off the break? Because another element to all this is right before Sony moved Peter Rabbit, Universal announced that they were moving up Boss Baby to the July 2nd weekend, and they're making it day and date with their Peacock. Now, Peacock has 3 tiers: a free tier, a $4.99 $5 tier, and I think a $9.99, so $10 tier. And they're going to make it available day and date on their $5 and $10 tiers.
Okay.
But they're going to make it day and date on a $5 tier. So do I really want Boss Baby on July 2nd when you can get it for $5 on one of my more lucrative weekends?
So it's definitely not a PVOD situation
No.
where there's a premium price. Excuse
Nope,
me.
it's a day and dating situation on a tier that's $5.
I get that it's supposed to be to boost streaming numbers and subscribers, but
Now,
it doesn't seem like that would. I don't know. Boss Baby 2 doesn't scream like the way to go, even on like a $5, $10.
Well, it's $50 to $75 million movie, and they're just
Yeah.
giving it away.
right.
Yeah.
So at
mean,
five,
And it's like, and it's popular for like younger, very
the
younger
first Boss
audiences,
Baby
I
was like a
think.
surprise hit.
Yeah.
It held in there.
It has like 50 shows on
remember-
Netflix.
I remember having a conversation in the office how weirded out we were after we saw the trailer with a baby that had a man's voice because it's
An
Alec Baldwin
voice.
and we're
yeah.
like, this isn't gonna work. This is why we don't let personal preferences cloud our
was
judgment.
The kids love Alec Baldwin. They love 30 Rock.
It ended up being super heartfelt and really cute, and it is definitely one of my
That was
favorites
the same
now.
damn thing we said about Lion King too. The animals were like, "This is too weird,"
Yeah.
and then it makes $1 billion.
So
I mean, you go ahead, Cody. What were you gonna say?
so by having had Peter Rabbit on the 18th, where it was originally, I was going to play it a third week and keep it all on screen into the July 4th corridor. So I have a kid show. Now I have a kid show, but I don't really want to play it. But I also, by them moving it up, don't want to give Peter Rabbit a 4th week. I don't know if I can go 4 in some of the, especially in smaller towns.
Yeah.
So do I give up Conjuring or In the Heights or one of these, or come off Cruella or Quiet Place early to play Peter Rabbit? And then what do? It forces my hand into having to maybe play Boss Baby when I didn't want to before. However, that's if I take Peter on the break. Now, if I don't take Peter on the break and I wait and say, sorry, Sony, you guys messed up. You'll definitely play me off the break. You're not going to not take dates. I can then play Peter Rabbit and get out of Boss Baby and and Peter Rabbit will have some value in it because it's theater exclusive. So I'm not sure it's going to take it a case by case basis, but I don't know which way I'm going to go yet. I'm just waiting to see how Cruella and Quiet Place open this weekend. That'll tell me a lot about the direction we're going to go moving forward.
I think we can all set our watches to this, that James Corden is going to get canceled on June 12th. Something's going to come up that he's part of some criminal conspiracy ring.
Underground criminal ring.
And then they're like, we have to move this movie back.
Some sort of fight club.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be on the 12th. They're going to
Oh.
release the movie. They knew it's coming out on the 12th, so they just
Yeah.
got to get it out as soon as they can.
Wasn't there some controversy that happened with the first Peter Rabbit? Like, didn't they supposedly
Yeah.
made fun of an
So
allergy.
weak.
They
Yes.
made fun of a food allergy or something, and then it was all hubbub, and then people tried to cancel the film over that because you're making fun of people with allergies.
That's also a talking rabbit.
Yeah.
And they're also making fun of British people through the entire movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mean,
isn't the whole
26 million people.
don't all the characters like all they do is like whoops tripped over a bunny and like fall down in like their garden or something.
Yeah.
Like you could I don't know make a controversy out of anything, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Ken is right though. Like something will happen like that with Peter Rabbit because of course it will.
Yeah.
The Talking Rabbit movie is supposed to have this many issues.
They beat those rabbits. They're digital. They digitally beat them.
Yeah.
What does that teach our kids?
Oh, so yeah, guys, I don't know. I mean, as far as booking strategies, man, it just really shakes up. I thought I had, how the other week when I was like, oh, knock on wood, I've got
Nailed
everything
it.
booked up.
This was the one that moved that
I knew
screwed
it.
things up.
I just
And
can't
we had
believe.
a 2-week period of this too, where
Right.
it was like things are looking good, and then Peter Rabbit and Sony were the ones that are like, let's ruin Cody's day.
Right. It did. I found out, what was it, on Tuesday?
Yesterday.
Yeah. Or Wednesday?
Yeah.
It was yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a
it's
long-
ruined my week. I have no idea what day it is. It's crazy. Wednesday. Yeah. I mean, middle of the week. And now I've had to take, all this time to readjust and relook at everything and just, tentatively put stuff in tentative that was confirmed. I mean, people can do advance tickets. They've probably been running the trailer. This really screws up a lot because you're trying to build momentum going forward. It's been so slow that the theaters had to step up and do so much more on advertising. And then to do this where now they might not get it. It's just, or they may have wasted resources promoting a film that I have to now cancel. I mean, that is just not fair on so many parts for the theater. All because we were asking for more prints does not mean we wanted a scheduled date.
Yeah, these moves are, studios kind of thinking along the lines of, no, this will be fair. We're bumping it up.
It's doing so much business in England and Australia. Of course, there's a avenue for it. And maybe they're seeing something I'm not. Maybe they somehow know that like Cruella or Quiet are maybe possibly weak films and that they're not going to go 2 weeks. I mean,
No, according to the NATO call, they're all cheering each other on.
Yeah.
All the film companies are patting
All
each
the-
other on the back.
All the movies are amazing. Everyone did a great job.
We're here for everyone.
all of our theater partners.
I mean, everybody was generally excited for Unhinged and New Mutants and Copperfield and Tenet. Like we had a
Yeah.
real run. Everybody, no matter what film company you worked for, you needed those to work out.
Yeah.
And when they didn't, it became old dog, old tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just go back to this system where nobody's film is as good as my film, regardless of what film it is.
It didn't work. Well, now I'm against you again. Oh, where's that camaraderie, everyone?
Yeah.
Let's bring that back again. That was the only good thing that happened.
And they were all involved. Like every film company had films ready.
Yeah.
They all could have released them then and opened things up and taken the bath then.
Right.
But in January at Christmas, we could have had the big opening we were hoping for.
No.
And now we're...
I mean, I kind of get it. There are still a
Nope.
lot of theaters closed, but right now, today, in the context, most theaters are open and-
almost all theaters have the ability to open.
to be
Yeah.
open, and very few have restrictions anymore. Like those are just mask mandates, seating
they
restrictions,
got rid of
capacity restrictions. That's all going away. We're by, I would say, July 1st, we're going to be fully operational the way we were pre-pandemic. And Warner's, Disney, Universal to still day and dating, there's really no excuse for it at this point. Not with everybody back. I mean, they can kind of say, oh, foreign markets, but those are coming back now too. So, I mean, Latin America and India might be issues, but Europe will be fine by then.
Foreign markets, do they mean Alaska? Because last time I checked, U.S. puts up all of the box office
Yeah.
for movies that don't have all Chinese casts.
U.S. puts up a lot of the box office and pays a lot of the film rental terms.
Yeah.
So we should be pampered in our market a little bit more than we are now.
Just saying, we should be the favorites.
If you were the biggest customer paying the most of the bill, maybe we should be catered to a little bit more.
Nah. That doesn't sound right.
No. So that's where I'm at. I wanted to just throw out a few things, though, a few films that were there on the periphery that I am looking at. I wanted to mention Queen Bees from Gravitas on 6/11, also going that week that Peter Rabbit is going.
Yes, if you book with Gravitas, triple check all of your shipping and keys with Deluxe.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
Jeez.
But that one looks really cute about, old ladies in the retirement home, and it just looked cute. What else am I booking?
Hero Mode.
Yeah, Hero Mode for Blue Fox.
Blue Fox's widest release title so far,
Yeah.
and we've got excellent terms on it.
Super good terms. That Queen Bees had really good terms too.
And Silver Screen Insider does have marketing assets for Hero Mode as well.
Right. And then the other one was Under the Stadium Lights. That one I think looks okay. The terms are pretty good. Not as good as what we're getting on Hero Mode and Queen Bees, but not bad. And that one's going 6/4. I think Hero Mode and Under the Stadium Lights are going on 6/4. So yeah, there's a lot of product out there that for alternatives, especially if you want to break on terms. There's a lot of the little distributors are still there, still putting out product, and
They're giving
for
money
less,
away?
Did I slip
wish.
that word again?
Yeah.
Money.
So yeah, that's that kind of rounds it out for my booking strategies. And then any other release schedule changes because Boss Baby moved up. Paramount moved Clifford the Big Red Dog into its September spot from November, so that'll be good. It's good for
I haven't seen
Paramount.
anything for this. Is it fully animated? Is it CGI giant dog?
CGI giant dog.
Yeah,
Is it a real giant dog, or
Real
is it
giant
like
dog.
oh, it's not colored?
No,
Like
it's
it's-
colored.
it's like
animated.
no,
giant
it's
dog?
not an animated cartoon dog. It's like a real dog that's just giant.
A CGI real dog.
Oh my god.
Who's red and big. There's actually
Yeah.
there is like a clip of it on Silver Screen Insider, and it's something.
Kyle's review. Clifford the Big Red Dog. It's something.
It's something.
I mean, our description should say it all, but you guys be the judgment.
Yeah.
Let us know. Why not?
So
Let us know about these SVOG updates.
Yeah,
we got some news coming down the pipe.
NATO didn't have any new updates with it. Nobody's, I think, gotten any money. None of the people I've talked to, the exhibitors that I've talked to, have heard anything from SBA. So, it might be going out the next 2 weeks. There's some chance that SBA will finally start awarding these next 2 weeks, which I always thought it would probably be middle of June before anybody got their money, and that's kind of what it's shaping up to be.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
So hold tight. There's SBA still working on it. And-
Diamond hands.
Yeah. And then as far as news goes, the other big news that we were going to talk about this week was Amazon buying MGM. So we have a tech company coming in and buying up a legacy media company.
They want to make the movies. They want to make the flicks.
They want to make the flicks.
They want to make people
They
big
wanna be a
stars on the
star.
TV screen.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you in the pictures.
So they are acquiring MGM and MGM's library for $8.45 billion. And what does this mean for theatrical? Well, I don't think No Time to Die is in trouble. I think that's going to get a theatrical release. That's coming out in October. There's no way this acquisition is going to happen before then. So I think they're going to go with their theatrical plan the way it was. But what does this mean for repertory? I think that is the big case because MGM didn't have a ton of new titles. It really had this vast repertory catalog. And I think I'd be worried, if you are used to playing MGM repertory, like what are some of the ones? Maybe not Wizard of Oz or
Well, obviously,
that's
all the
Warner's.
James Bonds, which we discussed, but
Yeah.
they have
Spaceballs was one of them?
Fargo, Spaceballs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very
Rockies.
It's
Probably
a
all
very
of them.
random assortment, but I mean, they hit a lot
lot.
of these top 100 films.
Yeah.
Right.
So those,
Spaceballs.
obviously we have to wait and see what the plan is, but Amazon does not have a theatrical distribution team. Now that may change after this acquisition, especially with James Bond moving forward. They may create a team, but they don't have a team in place. They have one or two guys that occasionally license to a handful of theaters when Amazon has something that they want to go day and date. So that needs to be in place, I think, before they could ever handle a repertory request. They are acquiring this repertory catalog for Prime, for streaming, to supplement, not only for the immediate short term of putting more films on Prime, but they want to mine this IP to create new product for Prime, to reinvent some of these shows, some of these movies, and to continue to add to Prime. So that's their goal. That's why they did this. I don't know if they see any benefit to still licensing out these old movies to theaters. And I don't know if they have the infrastructure in place to do it.
You mean licensing them out as repertory titles?
Yeah, as classics.
Gotcha.
So this could potentially be a huge blow to art houses and locations that play repertory in the classics. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes, but I don't think it's looking good. I think we just lost a ton of repertory titles like we did when Fox and Disney merged. We lost a ton of Fox titles, including like Princess Bride
and Die Hard and
Sandlot.
Die Hard 2 and Die Hard with a Vengeance.
The only ones that matter.
This could be another big
Die Hard.
This could be another big blow to that repertory market.
Did I get you with Live Free or Die Hard?
Yeah, you did. But again, we don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be months before it actually officially takes place. And, maybe Amazon will step up and have a theatrical distribution team and mine some of this stuff and be a player. But the way Netflix has gone, I wouldn't think that they're in it for that.
Do you know at all what's going to become of United Artists, because they were the ones distributing MGM titles recently? So would it be possible that they would take people from that team over to Amazon's
but Amazon's not buying
team?
United Artists,
right? I just didn't know how that was intertwined at all.
I think United Artists just has a distribution contract to distribute the product from MGM. But they have those distribution contracts with another company to do the repertory. I think it's like Park Circus does MGM repertory.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So they have a guy in place and they have some of that still. And they may allow Park Circus to continue on, and they may have United Artists do more of the James Bonds when they have a big, another big film. But we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. It's the first time that with the Disney Fox thing, Disney had a distribution team. We knew what to expect. We knew we were going to lose Fox repertory with that. But we also knew that Disney was going to distribute with their team the new Fox stuff. I don't know what's going to happen when, a tech company like Amazon buys up. When AT&T bought Warner's, they kept the studio intact. Warner still distributed their own stuff. MGM doesn't have that in-house. So Amazon's not acquiring that distribution in-house the way that AT&T acquired it with Warner's.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and Warner Brothers, as being purchased by a tech company, immediately were the first ones to jump into day and date. They were the ones that took away all of the theatrical window. And
for the pandemic.
Yeah, I know. But we shouldn't be surprised if a tech company like Amazon doesn't just start beaming it directly into people's heads.
I'm sure that's a goal one of these days.
Bezos is like, how did he know?
Alexa's like, I'm always here. What would you like to watch today?
The chip in my arm is burning. Is that normal?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to take a toll for like the repertory titles, and it does make me wonder how things are going to be handled when it comes to, releasing stuff in theaters. Are theaters going to be the priority, or is it going to be their streaming content?
I think streaming is the priority first and foremost.
Yeah.
They didn't buy this not to have it on Prime.
Yeah.
They bought content for Prime. That's what they did. Now, will they still allow Park Circus and United Artists to distribute when they have new content and the repertory content? I don't know. What that's a a whole separate issue that has to be worked out, I'm sure, after they fully acquire MGM. But I'm sure they have to honor some contracts for a while, but maybe not.
I mean, Disney had to do that with Fox titles. I mean, they didn't say how well they were going to handle it, but they had to own up to those contracts.
Yeah, if you have any insight to this, please give us a call at our hotline, 1-800-555-FINE.
That's not a real number.
Or is it?
Yeah. If you do actually have some insight, definitely email us at offthebreakpodcast@gmail.com. We would gladly like to hear your insights.
I've got the red phone that's hooked up to that number.
It's been plugged out of the wall forever, Ken. You never looked under the desk.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I just hope it really doesn't hurt theaters too much when it comes to new stuff being released. Maybe Amazon will still know like theatrical is important for, getting that moolah.
I hope so. I mean, but there are 3 big streamers out there. There's Prime, there's Netflix, and then there's Hulu. And then now we're seeing out of that
Hulu, which is Disney,
which is the Disney owned.
Yep.
But then we're seeing now Disney Plus becoming a major player. And then we have, I would say right behind Disney Plus is HBO Max, and then behind them is Paramount and Peacock and all these other ones. We don't know what's going to happen with HBO Max and Discovery now, if they're going to remain 2 separate streaming services or if they're going to combine into one. We don't know what that new company is going to look like, how that's going to change Warner's classic catalog. Who knows what Discovery, we're just assuming it's going to continue on, but that Discovery Warner's company could alter that catalog and cut us off there. And Warner's has a very extensive classics catalog.
Remember when movies were movies?
Yeah. Remember when you could just book what was available? Actually, it kind of is funny because we're saying, oh, we're losing access. Well, back in the day, unless you had a 35 millimeter print that wasn't damaged, you lost access anyways to these.
Back when a Coke cost a nickel.
So it's just.
But that could have been, that's more due to user error, I think. This is like giant corporations acquiring
right,
stuff
there was
for themselves.
Physical limitations where product, you couldn't, when it was all 35 millimeter, you couldn't just pick up an old Top Gun print. You had to check to see if the depot had it, see if it was damaged. There wasn't a guarantee it would work. I mean, there's just no guarantee that you'll always have access to product. And it got a lot better there for a little while with DVDs and technology and digital projectors. And you thought, I think we're still operating under the illusion that the digitizing the projector was going to enable us to have access to all this content because it was all digital. It didn't cost anything. And all it did was enable the film companies to cut you off even more on stuff. So it's just been interesting time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think we're still operating under that kind of illusion that we should have access to this.
Yeah, but we're still all here.
Mm-hmm.
We've survived the pandemic.
We have.
Lots of us are vaxxed.
And waxed.
Others are masked. We're sanitizing. We've gotten used to marketing our films. I mean, we're ready.
I hope we're used to it because we got to do it a lot more.
We're ready to hit the ground running, and it's awesome that we get to work in an industry like this. I mean, it is guys, ever changing. You could be selling tires or racquetballs or nuts and bolts, but instead you're selling Peter Rabbit 2 a week earlier than you thought you would.
Don't you hate it when those racquetball salesmen always come to your house?
I know.
It's the worst.
I can't get them off my yard.
I know.
Just bringing me their blue balls.
On that note,
way to sneak that joke in there.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. Have you guys ever seen a racquetball?
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Dare you to tell me if there's another color.
All right, so that wraps things up for us. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Off the Break podcast. You can find us on all podcast platforms and over at silverscreeninsider.com. Be sure to check out that website if you're a theater owner or manager needing to know updated and accurate film information for the films you're about to play and all of the marketing assets that come with them.
Have a great Memorial Day weekend, guys. We're going to take the extra day and go up into the mountains, so we're excited.
Yeah, make sure you all enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, we're going to pack up our blue balls and go to the mountains. Bye, everybody.
Bye.